The moment you walk in and the world misjudges you when you walk into a room, people think they already know you. They look at your clothes, your face, your posture, and in a few seconds, they make up a story about your life. They decide your worth before you even open your mouth. And the sad part is, most people never stop to ask who you really are. They never see the nights you stayed awake fighting your own battles. They never see the strength it took just to show up. But let me tell you something. Being misjudged is not the end of your story. It's the starting point that pushes you to rise. Every great person has walked into rooms where they were misunderstood. What matters is not what they think, it's what you carry inside. Why people judge before they understand your Roy people. Judge fast because it's easy. It saves them from thinking deeper. It saves them from asking questions. It saves them from seeing truth. Most people make quick opinions because they don't want to deal with reality, yours or theirs. They look at your face, but they don't know your fight. They see your mistakes, but they don't know your growth. They see your silence, but they don't know your strength. Think about everyday moments. Someone at work looks at you and assumes you have it easy. Someone in your family thinks you're weak because you don't talk back. Someone online assumes your life is perfect because you don't post your pain. But every time they judge without knowing your story, remember this. Their opinion is based on a small part of the truth. Your journey is bigger than what their eyes can see. The courtroom of life. Everyone thinks they know what life feels like. A courtroom. People act like they're the judge. They look at you and act like they have the final say. They point out your past as if it defines your future. They act like they know your heart, your fears, your goals. But they don't. They've never carried your load. They've never walked your path. They've never survived your storms. Think about students judged by grades, workers judged by one bad day, parents judged by outsiders who know nothing about the struggle inside the home. Everyone thinks they know you, but they only know the surface. And the surface never tells the full story. Questions that break your silence and wake you to yourself. How many times have you let others speak for you? How many times have you stayed quiet just to keep peace? How many times have you let their thoughts shape your steps? There comes a moment when these questions hit you like a spark. They shake you, they wake you. They make you look in the mirror and ask, is this who I really am? Real change begins with the questions you're scared to ask. The questions that pull you out of hiding. The questions that force you to stop pretending everything is fine. Your identity is built, not assumed. Start owning your identity is not something people hand you. It's something you build, brick by brick. Choice by choice, day by day. People might assume they know you, but they don't have the power to decide your path unless you give it to them. You build who you are when you stand up after being ignored. You build who you are when you keep going after someone tells you you're not enough. You build who you are when you refuse to let your past hold you down. Look at anyone who changed. Their life, athletes, leaders, workers, parents, they weren't born strong. They built themselves through struggle, pain, and quiet effort when no one was watching. Your identity grows when you stop letting the world define you and start defining yourself. And the day you own your truth is the day the world finally sees who you were meant to be. What people see vs. What you carry inside. What they notice isn't what you're carrying. People only notice the surface, your expression, your tone, your posture, but they never see the storms you walk through. They see the smile, not the weight behind it. They see the calmness, not the battles you keep fighting in silence. Life teaches you to hold your pain quietly because the world rarely listens with compassion. And while people form opinions based on a few seconds of observation, they forget you've lived years full of moments they'll never understand. What they notice will always be less than what you carry. because your real struggles live in places no one else could access. Your strength isn't loud, but it's real, built in the shadows where no applause exists. The fights behind your face that no one ever sees. Your face shows a version of you, but not the whole story. People don't see the nights you stayed awake, overthinking, breaking, healing, restarting. They don't see the moments you held yourself together when your heart was falling apart. They don't see the disappointments you swallowed, the betrayal you survived, or the hope you had to rebuild every time life tested you. Behind every calm face is a battlefield: memories, fears, regrets, lessons, and silent victories that shaped you. People assume you're fine because you don't collapse in public, but strength doesn't look like shouting. It looks like continuing. And you've continued through things most people wouldn't last a day in. The pain they don't know, and the strength you never show. People don't know the pain you buried deep just to function. They don't know the sacrifices you made quietly. They don't know the fears you fought privately. And they certainly don't know how much strength it took to get out of bed on the days you wanted to disappear. Your strength isn't on display, because real strength isn't about proving, it's about surviving. You've carried burdens that would break others, yet you learn to walk with them gracefully. You've built muscles nobody sees: discipline, patience, resilience, self-control. And while the world judges your silence, they have no idea how loud your inner battles really were. Strength isn't always visible, but it's always earned out. Why the world judges without understanding your story? The world judges quickly because it's easier to assume than to understand. People build stories about you without ever knowing the chapters you lived. They don't know your upbringing, your struggles, your losses, or the reasons behind your choices. They see a moment and think they know your entire journey. But judgment is cheap understanding, costs effort, empathy, and humility, which many people refuse to invest. So don't let their opinions define you. Their judgment isn't about your truth, it's about their limited perspective. You've survived more than they'll ever realize. And the world's misunderstanding doesn't erase the truth of who you really are. Stop living for approval. Start living for yourself. You spend too much energy trying to be understood, accepted, approved, and for what? People who want to misunderstand you always will. The world keeps shifting its standards, and you'll exhaust yourself trying to meet them. At some point, you must decide to stop performing and start living. Your worth isn't a vote. Your value isn't a consensus. Your life isn't a public opinion poll. When you stop chasing approval, you regain power, the power to make choices for your peace, not for applause. Live for the person you're becoming, not for the people who don't. Even know your soul. Freedom begins the moment you choose yourself. The courtroom of life is a courtroom, and you are always on trial. Life often feels like a courtroom. You're constantly being evaluated by people, by circumstances, by your own past. Every decision you make becomes evidence. Every mistake becomes a witness against you. You walk into rooms feeling like you must defend who you are, justify what you want, and explain why you deserve peace. And even when you've grown, the world still tries to bring up old versions of you as if you're not allowed to evolve. But here's the truth. You are both the defendant and the defender of your own life. If you don't stand up for yourself, the world will write its own verdict about you. And you deserve better than to be judged by people who never lived your story. When people judge you without knowing the evidence, people love to judge, but they rarely look at the evidence. They don't see the effort you put in, the intentions you had, or the battles you fought quietly. They only see the outcome, not the journey. They label you based on half-truths and assumptions. They criticize you without context. They speak confidently about things they barely understand. But remember this, their judgment is not your sentence. Their opinion is not your identity. They may point fingers, but they don't hold the truth. Only you know the full story, your sacrifices, your healing, your growth. Don't let uneducated opinions become chains around your future. What others say about you reveals who they are, not who you are. How your past tries to prosecute your future. Your past is like a relentless prosecutor. It brings up old evidence, old mistakes, old fears, and tries to convince you that you're still the same person. It reminds you of the times you failed, the moments you broke, the things you regret. It whispers that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough to rise. But your past has no power unless you let it speak louder than your progress. Growth is your defense. Healing is your testimony. Change is your freedom. You're not on trial for who you used to be. You're building a future based on who you're becoming. Don't let old chapters prosecute the story you're writing now. Are you letting fear speak for you? Fear is a loud lawyer and argues aggressively, exaggerates your weaknesses, and convinces you to shrink instead of rise. Fear tells you to stay quiet, stay small, stay safe. But fear is not truth. It's a reaction. The question is, are you allowing fear to present the case of your life? Are you letting fear decide your dreams, your relationships, your voice, your direction? Every time you stay silent when you should speak, or stay still when you should move, fear is doing the talking for you. It's time to interrupt it. Stop letting fear represent you. Speak with courage, even if your voice shakes. Act with intention, even if your hands tremble. Your life deserves a better attorney than fear. Your comeback is the only testimony that matters at the end of the trial. The only thing that truly matters is your comeback. Not your mistakes, not the accusations, not the opinions. Your comeback is your proof. It's your testimony to the world that you didn't just survive, you transformed. People may doubt you, criticize you, or bury you under judgment, but your rise will speak louder than anything they ever said. The beauty of a comeback is that it rewrites the narrative. It turns pain into purpose, setbacks into preparation, and silence into strength. You don't need to argue with people about who you are. Just grow, just rise, just return stronger. Your comeback will testify on your behalf. The story behind who you really are. Breathe in hidden strength you don't let the world see you. Carry a strength that most people never notice because you've learned to survive quietly. You don't broadcast your battles. You don't announce your struggles. You don't demand sympathy. Instead, you hold yourself together in moments where others would fall apart. This hidden strength was forged through experiences you never talk about: losses, betrayals, responsibilities, heartbreaks, sacrifices. You learn to be your own anchor, your own healer, your own motivation. And though the world may underestimate you, it is this unseen strength that keeps you moving. Real power doesn't need an audience. Your strength exists in silence, but its impact shows in the way you keep rising. No matter how many times life tries to break you. Why people freeze when they finally see your power. People get comfortable underestimating you. They assume you're weak, quiet, average, or predictable because they only know the version of you that you allowed them to see. But when your real power begins to show your confidence, your clarity, your resilience, they freeze. Not because you changed overnight, but because they never imagined how much strength you were hiding. Your growth challenges their assumptions, and your rise threatens their comfort. Some will be shocked, some will be intimidated, some will pretend. They always believed in you, but none of that matters. Your power was always there, silent, steady, waiting for the right moment. And when people witness it, they realize they misjudged you not because you were small, but because their vision was your growth as a sunrise, slow, quiet, unstoppable. Growth doesn't happen loudly. It doesn't announce itself. It begins like a sunrise, soft, hidden, almost unnoticed. You make small choices, small changes, small improvements, and no one sees how much effort it takes. But over time, something shifts. Your mind expands. Your heart heals, your spirit strengthens, and suddenly, the world starts to recognize a version of you they didn't expect. That's how growth works, quiet, steady, unstoppable. People may overlook your progress in the beginning, but they won't be able to ignore the glow that comes later. Your rise is not a moment, it's a process. And just like the sunrise, once you begin to shine, nothing can stop the light from spreading. Break the habit of shrinking yourself. You've spent years minimizing your worth, avoiding attention, lowering your voice, saying it's okay when it wasn't, making yourself small so others could feel comfortable. But shrinking yourself has only made you invisible to yourself. It's time to break that pattern. You were not created to dim your light for people who fear brightness. You were not meant to hide your gifts, your ideas, your strength, or your truth. Standing tall isn't arrogance, it's alignment. The world benefits when you show up fully. Break the habit of shrinking. Expand. Take space. Own your presence. You don't need permission to be powerful. You only need the courage to stop holding yourself back. Own your scars. Own your story. Own your rise. Your scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof of survival. Every mark, every lesson, every heartbreak shaped you into someone stronger and wiser. Stop hiding them. Your story matters, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. When you own your scars, you own your healing. When you own your story, you own your identity. When you own your rise, you step into a version of yourself that no one can diminish. Don't apologize for where you've been. Those painful chapters are the foundation of your comeback. You didn't rise despite your scars, you rose because of them. And the world deserves to see the strength you earned the hard way, what you carry from your untold. Why the weight you carry from the story. You don't talk about everyone carries a story. They don't speak about a chapter hidden behind smiles, responsibilities, and quiet strength. You carry the weight of memories you've never fully unpacked, emotions you never learned to express, and moments that shaped you in ways others will never understand. The silent story affects how you trust, how you love, how you protect yourself, and how you move through the world. The heaviness isn't from the past itself, but from carrying it alone for so long. You learn to survive by staying silent, but that silence built walls around your heart. And even though you've grown, the shadows of your untold story still follow you. You don't talk about it, not because you're weak, but because you had to be strong before you even learned how to ask for help. This weight has shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. Healing begins when you realize your story deserves to be understood, even if only by you. Facing the fear of being seen for who you were, one of the hardest fears to face is the fear of being seen, not as who you are now, but as who you used to be. You worry that if people knew the old chapters, the mistakes, the chaos, the wounds, they would judge you or turn away. So you keep certain parts of your story hidden, hoping no one ever connects the dots. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't erase your past, it redeems it. The person you were built, the person you are, you're afraid of being seen because you're still learning to forgive yourself. You fear their judgment because you haven't fully released your own. But being seen is the ultimate freedom, because once you stop running from who you were, you finally step into who you're meant to become. No one can use your past against you once you stop being ashamed of it. Your past is a chapter, not the cover of your life. Too many people treat their past as if it defines the entire story of their life. But your past is just a chapter important. Yes, but not the whole book. Every chapter has mistakes, detours, heartbreaks, and lessons. But no chapter was ever meant to become the cover. The cover is who you choose to be today. You're constantly rewriting your life through your decisions, through your growth, and through the strength you've earned. Don't let an old version of yourself dictate your identity. You are not the person you used to be, and you don't owe anyone the right to tie you to that version. Your story didn't end where you stumbled. It continued stronger, wiser, more intentional. Your past shaped you, but it doesn't limit you. You get to decide how the next chapters unfold. You can't outrun your past, but you can outgrow it. The past has a way of chasing you, not to haunt you, but to remind you of what still needs healing. You can't outrun it, no matter how fast you move or how many distractions you build around yourself. The past shows up in patterns and reactions and fears and relationships. Not because you're stuck, but because something inside you is asking to be acknowledged. Outgrowing the past is different from escaping it. Outgrowing means rising above old mindsets, breaking old cycles, and refusing to be defined by old injuries. It means showing up as the version of yourself you've worked so hard to become. Outgrowing is freedom. And you've already started, even if you don't realize it. Every moment of self-awareness, every boundary you set, every time you choose. Healing over habit, you rise. You don't need to erase your past. You just need to outgrow it. Own your truth. This is where transformation begins. Transformation begins the moment you stop hiding from yourself. Your truth, your real truth, isn't just the good parts. It's the wounds, the regrets, the lessons, the resilience. Owning your truth means standing in your story without fear or shame. It's accepting who you were, honoring who you are, and committing to who you're becoming. Most people never transform because they're busy pretending, but pretending keeps you trapped. Honesty sets you free. When you own your truth, you take back power from the things that once controlled you. You become unshakable because you're no longer held hostage by secrets or past versions of yourself. Your truth is not your weakness, it's your strength. And once you own it fully, you become unstoppable. Living as the real authenticity. The freedom you keep avoiding. Authenticity is freedom, but it's also scary, which is why you avoid it. Being authentic means showing the world who you truly are, not who you think they want you to be. It means dropping the mask, letting go of perfection, and embracing your flaws, your truth, your voice. You fear authenticity because it makes you vulnerable. But what you don't realize is that hiding is costing you more than being seen ever will. When you're authentic, life gets lighter. Decisions get clearer. Relationships get real. You stop living in fear of judgment because you're finally living in alignment with yourself. Authenticity is not a risk, it's liberation. When you stop pretending, your life starts moving. Pretending slows your life down. Every time you act like you're okay when you're not, or pretend to be someone you're not, you hold yourself back. Growth only happens when you show up honestly. The moment you stop pretending, everything shifts. Your confidence rises. Your relationships improve. Your purpose becomes clearer. You give yourself permission to evolve. You stop wasting energy maintaining an image and start investing it into becoming your real self. Pretending keeps you stuck. Truth sets you in motion. Your life is waiting for the real you to finally show up. What happens when you stop dimming your light? When you stop dimming your light, you stop apologizing for your greatness. You stop shrinking in rooms where you deserve to shine. You stop making yourself small so others can feel big. And something powerful happens. Your presence begins to change things. Opportunities open. People notice. Your voice gets stronger. Your purpose becomes undeniable. Dimming your light never protected you. It only delayed your growth. When you shine unapologetically, you inspire others to do the same. Your light is not a threat. It's a gift. Your truth is your weapon. Use it boldly. Your truth is the greatest weapon you have, not anger, not ego, not pretending. Truth cuts through lies, judgment, and fear. It gives you direction, clarity, and confidence. When you speak your truth, you stop living for approval and start living with intention. Your truth protects your peace, your boundaries, your identity. Use it boldly. Speak up when something matters. Walk away when something no longer aligns. Chasing validation will exhaust you. Living your truth will empower you. Rise into the life that belongs to the real you. The life you want belongs to the real you, not the masked you, not the shrinking you, not the fearful you. When you rise as your authentic self, everything aligns: your relationships, your purpose, your confidence, your opportunities. You begin attracting what matches your truth, not your insecurity. Rising into your real life means letting go of the past version of yourself that lived in survival mode. You've outgrown that. Stand tall, step forward. Rise without apology. The life waiting for you is bigger than the one you're leaving behind. Using judgment as fuel will turn every critic into fuel for your next step. Critics will always exist. People will always have something to say, but instead of letting their words break you, use them to build momentum. Let their doubt become your motivation. Let their negativity strengthen your discipline. Critics reveal your potential. They don't waste energy on people going nowhere. Every time someone underestimates you, take it as confirmation that you're rising. Turn every critic into fuel. Let their noise push you forward, not hold you back. Judgment can break you or build you. You choose judgment as inevitable, but your response is your choice. You can let it break your confidence, or you can let it build your resilience. When you realize that people judge from their own insecurities, not your reality, their words lose power. Judgment only hurts when you believe it. But when you know your worth, judgment becomes irrelevant. Turn it into strength. Let it shape your growth, not your identity. Every doubt becomes evidence for your victory. Every time someone doubts you, they're giving you evidence of how far you can go. Doubt is a sign that you're attempting something bigger than their imagination. Use it. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it push you toward your goals. Doubt from others only becomes a barrier when you accept it as truth. Believe in your ability more than they believe in your limitations. Every doubt they throw becomes proof that you're destined for more. Stop proving them wrong. Start proving yourself right. Your goal is not to prove other people wrong. It's to prove yourself right. When you chase validation from others, you surrender your power. But when you focus on proving your own potential, you rise from a place of purpose, not pressure. You owe no one an explanation, a performance, or proof. Your journey is yours. Do it for you, not for their approval. Let your success be a testimony to your belief in yourself. Validate yourself before the world ever does. Validation that comes from others is temporary, but validation that comes from yourself is permanent. When you recognize your worth, your progress, your potential, you stop craving external applause. You stop needing someone else to tell you who you are. Validate yourself first. Believe in yourself first, because once you do, the world will follow. When your growth when your growth finally speaks louder than your past, there comes a moment when your growth becomes louder than your history. A moment where people who once doubted you must acknowledge your rise. Growth is slow, quiet, and often invisible, until suddenly it's undeniable. Your transformation becomes the proof. Your strength becomes the answer. Your progress becomes the message. And the world finally sees the version of you that you've been working toward in silence. Success is the only introduction you need. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Success speaks for you. It introduces you before you open your mouth. It silences judgment, erases doubt, and commands respect. Your success becomes your voice, your shield, your confidence. Let your results speak. You don't owe explanations, only execution. Their silence will tell you everything about your rise. When you start rising, pay attention. The people who once talked the loudest often go silent. Silence reveals jealousy, insecurity, or surprise. But their silence isn't your responsibility. It's a sign that your growth is speaking louder than their words ever could. Let their silence be your confirmation. Your strength will shock them. Your story will humble them. People rarely expect strength from someone they once underestimated. Your resilience will shock them. And when they learn your full story, the pain, the battles, the healing, it will humble them. Because greatness built from struggle is undeniable. Your story is powerful because it's real. Your results will always speak the loudest truth. Words can be ignored. Opinions can be twisted. But results, they're undeniable. Your effort, your consistency, your growth, they tell the real story. Results silence doubt. They rewrite narratives. They reveal truth. Keep building results so loud that no one can question your journey. Step into your POW or step into your own courtroom with your truth-ready life puts you on trial. But this time you enter with your truth ready. No fear, no hiding. You stand tall because you know who you are. Truth is your defense. Growth is your evidence. Strength is your testimony. What power are you still hiding from the world? You're holding power you haven't used yet. Talents, confidence, clarity. It's time to stop hiding. Step forward. Claim the strength you've earned. Fear will hold you until you decide to stand. Fear controls you only when you stay seated. The moment you stand mentally, emotionally, spiritually, fear loses authority. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move anyway. Walk into every room like you belong there. You've earned the right to be confident. Walk into every room knowing your worth, your voice, your presence matters. Don't shrink. Don't second guess. Claim your space. Your confidence is the key. They never expected confidence changes everything. It shifts the energy. It silences doubt. It shocks people who underestimated you. Your confidence is your crown. Wear it boldly. The final verdict of your life. Only you decide the verdict of your life, not society, not critics, not your past decide the verdict of your life. You choose your direction, your healing, your identity. Your life is your ruling. They don't get to define you or limit you. No one owns the right to define your worth. Their labels don't hold authority over your destiny. You are bigger than their opinions. The ending of your story belongs only to you. You hold the pen. You write the ending. Your past can't write it. People can't write it. Only you decide how your story finishes. Build an unstoppable mindset that can't be judged. When your mindset becomes strong, discipline, resilience, clarity, judgment slips off you. Build a mind that can't be shaken. Let them freeze when they finally see the real you. Your rise will leave many speechless. Let them freeze. Let them stare. You've earned this transformation. You've earned this power. Let the real you shine.